This is Heavy Conversation with Bruce and Jody, a podcast where we talk about being a big guy in today's world. I'm Bruce. And I'm Jody. Here we go.
Here we go.
All right, here we go. All right, here we go.
Hello, Jody.
Hey, Bruce.
I'm very excited.
Yes.
Because Avengers Endgame finally came out. And I've made it very clear here that I'm a comic book fan.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh.
And I'm really
maybe I need to go back and listen to some old episodes. And
exactly. It's like once an episode.
There's a reference.
Yeah. So Avengers Endgame came out, basically the culmination of a story that went across 22 films and about 10 years.
Yeah.
So,
maybe we should say, sorry, there may be spoilers in this conversation.
Good. That's good.
If you haven't seen it, maybe pause this episode until you've seen it.
There we go.
I don't want
the spoiler police to come after us.
Spoiler police?
I wrote something about this for Chubster, and I had two
police.
Yes, two officers.
Tickets?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so spoiler anyone. Okay.
Yeah. So
and continue.
Yep. So if you're still listening and you haven't seen it, then
we warned you.
That is on you.
Yes.
So it's the culmination of 22 films. This story that started with Iron Man. They go through this whole thing, and basically,
it's been a long ride.
The end of that story. So I've been very excited about this, especially for the last year.
I've actually been excited about it too. Like the last one,
Infinity
War. I wasn't I feel like there wasn't enough break in between them, and now it's been it's been like a year.
It's been about a year, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that was a good break for everyone to be like,
right.
Oh yeah, that's right. Let's go back and what happened after everyone died, or half the people died.
Yeah, Thanos snapped. Half the universe went away, and
now what?
They lost. So Endgame picks up with that basically that they lost, and they are coping with that.
Yeah,
they are trying to figure out how to move forward when they actively lost. People died.
They lost heroes. They lost a lot of normal people,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So we get to see how that is handled and how they try their best to fix that.
Mm-hmm. Figure out what's next and where do they go. And
one of the things that was really cool to me about this movie is that they spent a long time. They kind of sat with the loss. It wouldn't have been surprising to me to see them show a little bit of that in the beginning, and they go, now let's turn it around.
Epic battle.
Right.
Yeah.
Instead, they sat with it. They did a whole 5-year thing. 5 years later, this is what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Life sucks. We lost. And they go through that, and they show how each of the characters kind of deal with that. And they're all dealing with it in their own ways. And the ways that they're dealing with it, they're not great.
Yeah.
It's a huge loss, and they felt responsible for all this, so on and so forth. Yeah.
A lot of guilt and depression, or
absolutely, absolutely. So, some of them are trying to continue and move forward and kind of help people, and then there are others that aren't exactly doing that.
They just gave up and just trying to get away from all of it.
Right.
Yeah.
The biggest surprise to me of the whole thing, because I stayed away from most spoilers. Before this. So the biggest surprise to me was the one character that was having a lot of trouble dealing with everything that had happened for the last, really 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
And that's Thor.
Yes.
Thor did not deal so well with the loss of Thanos.
All his family, like everyone, his planet.
Right. If you go back to even that second Thor film that everybody says they hate,
which one?
The Dark World, Thor: The Dark World, which I didn't think was so bad. Okay. I mean, really, I don't know. Was it the best? No, but it wasn't horrible.
Okay.
Anyway, he lost a relationship. He lost his family. He found his sister. Found out she was evil. Lost the sister.
Yeah.
Mother dies. Brother dies. Father dies. Everything.
Yeah.
Loses his home, all of that. So that's going to take a toll on you.
Mm-hmm. Even any superhero.
Right. Exactly. So as they the writers of Avengers Endgame decided to have this manifest itself. And they did that by making Thor fat.
Mm-hmm.
We got a fat Thor.
Yes. The long-awaited Fat Thor.
So my first reaction to seeing Fat Thor was pure joy.
Right?
Just because,
finally, we've been asking for this. Fat superheroes.
Please go back to that fat superhero episode. You can see there's.
They listened.
Yes,
we made this happen, Bruce.
They did.
We made Fat Thor happen.
We'll take that. We'll take responsibility for it.
Yes, absolutely.
So Thor is fat. He has kind of let himself go. He has sort of turned into Lebowski, which
yes,
which there is one scene in there where it's just they did it exactly the same. It was perfect. Basically, Thor has he has kind of let himself go. He's fallen into a deep depression. He's sad. He's kind of just given up, and he's drinking constantly.
Drinking a lot.
Yeah, and he's just kind of let everything go. And when we see him, a couple of the other Avengers go to try and get him to come back to help.
Rally the troops.
Right. And he isn't really interested in that. Mm-hmm. He's more interested in drinking his beer and playing Fortnite.
Yep.
Sounds
perfectly all right.
Right. Sounds like a good night. So they end up getting him to come back, and we go through basically his story, the story of Thor kind of feeling like he's not worthy and realizing that he is, and kind of working through this depression.
Well, there was a lot
getting there.
Yeah.
As we go through that, there's good and bad to the whole thing. As a viewer and as a fat person,
right? Yeah, there wasn't maybe the best.
You get some fat jokes, some fat jokes that suck, that don't really add anything.
Yeah, it didn't progress the story or the characters,
right.
It was like, okay,
right. It's the kind of fat phobia that we're used to dealing with in our everyday lives. Mm-hmm. There's something about, I feel like it's butter or cheese whiz coursing through his veins at one point, and then another one is his mother telling him to eat a salad. Things that
nothing even really that witty or
nothing witty, just the requisite fat joke that's thrown in. So when they started with that, I was concerned that this was going to turn into, okay, he's fat, he's getting these jokes, they're down on him, he's going to hate himself. Yeah, he's going to have some kind of miraculous weight loss.
Oh,
He's going to turn back into
he'll save everyone.
Thin, ripped Thor, and he'll be valuable again.
Yeah.
That was not the way that it went.
Yes, thankfully.
One of the really cool things to me about this is that the comments and the way that these other characters treated him wasn't something that sat with him. It wasn't... their bad jokes and them trying to make fun of him wasn't something that stuck with him and affected his character. Another thing that was great is that we actually get to see Thor kicking ass through the movie, and he's fat.
Yeah.
So we get this thing that we've never gotten in popular culture, especially in a movie that's this big. And I absolutely never would have guessed that if this was going to happen, we were going to get a fat superhero. I definitely wouldn't have considered that it would be Thor.
Not Thor.
Which, that's Thor. I mean, so amazing.
I think overall it's almost inspirational that, whatever, quote unquote, let himself go or whatever that is. But he still powered through and was still like, did what he needed to do to, he didn't, like you said, didn't let it bother him, the name calling or the bad jokes. Right. Maybe it even pushed him even harder to say, no, I can still do what I need to do, even though I look different,
exactly.
I think that's powerful.
That's exactly it.
Like, I think people are focusing on, there were fat jokes. Maybe there didn't need to be, but I think it's almost, that's what we have to deal with as bigger people sometimes. Like, that is going to happen, and you need to, maybe it shows that, yes, this is going to happen, but you can either let it affect you and hold you back, or you can just power through it and be a kick-ass superhero.
The thing that really stuck out to me about this was the fact that they still showed him. So spoiler alert, he gets his original hammer back, which had been gone for a while.
Yeah.
He gets the hammer back.
He's still worthy.
And he's still worthy.
Yeah.
He's fat, but he's still worthy.
Yeah.
And he's not only that, but he goes above and beyond. He's even more awesome doing things that he's never done in the other films, and he's still fat. He didn't get his hammer back and suddenly turn thin. He stays fat until the end of the movie. As far as we know right now, Fat Thor is out there in space somewhere with the Guardians of the Galaxy doing his thing.
Mm-hmm.
They stayed with that. They didn't tie his worth to him being thin, and they showed that in a way that was awesome. He was able to shrug off the shitty comments, the bad jokes and things, which to me felt like it was more realistic, because those are things that when you're a big person, you deal with those kind of comments.
Absolutely.
All of that in your everyday life. So the fact that he dealt with that, pushed through, and continued to be amazing, and was able to show that, that is what I'm asking for. That's what I wanted.
That's what we wanted. Yeah. We asked for it.
Yeah.
And they delivered finally.
Yes.
We need, maybe there's some tweaking.
It's not perfect. It is absolutely
I'm not asking for perfect.
Right.
I just want it. I want the fat guy to kick ass in the movie.
Right. And I didn't like the fat jokes. I didn't like the initial setup, but the fact that he was bigger and was still valued by his team and was a vital part of the of moving the story along and getting to this objective is amazing.
Yeah, he didn't become a side character. Like he didn't become a side character just because he was bigger.
Right,
he was still the main person.
Yeah, and he was phenomenal and still able to do everything else that he could do before. So that's what I wanted, and being able to see that. Listen, like I said, it's not perfect. I do feel like it's a step in the right direction to be able to see that. And the fact that they took a character that is that big and well known and beloved and did that, I think that says something.
I wonder if they're going to come out with a Fat Thor doll.
Oh, well, here's what I hope they do, because I will buy everything, all things Fat Thor, and I know what my Halloween costume is going to be.
I know. I was like, there was already cosplay big guys doing it, but now there's now it's official.
Oh,
we're gonna have a Fat Thor Halloween costume competition.
Totally. Yeah,
get ready for that. Halloween's my favorite holiday, so you better watch out.
Yes, I'm ready. I'll have to show you. Maybe I'll have to put up some of these photos. I did a Viking costume one year, and that's
basically what Thor is.
I went to eBay and bought this metal Viking helmet with real horns on it.
This, yeah.
Oh, it was the most uncomfortable thing to wear. Like it didn't have any padding inside, so you would
just
have
a metal thing on your head.
Yeah, so you would have to put like ski caps on. I had like 2 or 3 ski caps. Then I would set this thing on.
That sounds like
fun. It would
fun.
come down like the sides of it would come down past my chin. And then it kind of came down in the middle between my eyes, like over my nose. It was phenomenal. This was the coolest thing. Made the rest of the costume out of fake fur that I had to like rub in the dirt to make it look like it was warm. It was phenomenal. It was so good. So now that I know that we can do Fat Thor, that's what I'm talking about.
All right.
Is it beer time?
Oh yes, I can beer it up. So I grabbed something at the local beer dispensary.
Nice.
It's Koenig Ludwig Weissbier. It's a Royal Bavarian Hefeweizen. It has my last name on it, so I was like, I'll get that one. Here, I'll open this.
I'm all about these awesome German beers.
I was just like, I'm going to get some more of that. Oh, geez.
Yeah.
That one's for you.
Thank you. Let's see here.
We're going to get one of our own.
Yes, brewed according to the Bavarian purity law. So that means it's...
What was that? I'm sorry.
It is brewed according to the Bavarian purity law, which basically... I think it's called...
So virgins brewed this?
I think it is actually... I think the German term for that is... It's like Weinheitsgebot or something like that. I know I'm butchering the pronunciation, so sorry, German listeners, but... It's basically a beer brewed with like 4 ingredients or something like that.
It says something about the Bavarian royal family has sole rights to brewing the Hefeweizen in Bavaria for 200 years.
Well, let's see.
Naturally cold wheat brewed.
Yeah. Not bad. 200-year-old recipe.
200-year-old beer, what?
Right. I mean, it's been around this long. They've been making it for this long. It must not be
right.
that bad,
Smooth. Right? Okay, so the untapped flavor profile says smooth, light, banana, and
I get a
sweet.
Little banana. Yeah. I get a little of that. A little bready kind of.
There's not a lot of descriptor on here, folks.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. I'm all right with this. It's
smooth, light, banana, sweet.
I'm generally not a Hefeweizen fan. I have to be in the mood, but not bad.
Hefeweizen straw, amber color, at least 50% malted wheat.
Nice.
Oh, Weizen means wheat, and Hefe means yeast.
Okay, yeast wheat.
Yeah. Okay, I'm learning.
Wheat yeast?
Hefe, yeast wheat.
All right, yeast wheat. Perfect.
Hefeweizen.
Well, there we go. Favorite kind of beer. Yeast wheat beer.
I love it.
Yep. Well, good.
That's probably Koenig, Ludwig.
Yep.
Weiss beer.
Yep.
Koenig.
There we go. Perfect.
Sorry, not much to say on this one, but it's a good Hefeweizen summery beer.
Yep. Gets the job done.
Available at your local beer dispensary.
Perfect. I feel like the fact that we got to see a fat superhero in what is inarguably the biggest film of all time is probably a very positive sign.
The biggest movie of all time.
Yeah, so last I heard, as of like yesterday or something, for the first weekend, it did $1.2 billion in its first weekend. Ridiculous. Like, blew everything else away. Even blew away Infinity War. So,
that doesn't surprise me. That one, I'm sorry, I didn't particularly enjoy the last one, but
yeah. Have you seen the ones before? Like, have you been?
Yeah, I've seen them all. Yeah. But I'm not going to go back and watch them all in the correct whatever order.
You're not going to spend the 59 hours to watch all of them in the specific order?
Or the $1 billion it would take to watch all of them again? Yeah. No, I'm not going to do that. I've seen them all, but yeah.
I understand. Yeah. Well, I've done it for you multiple times, so...
You've seen them all multiple times.
Yes. But the rest of the movie, I think, was great. I didn't feel like there were really any... There wasn't anything that stood out to me that felt like it didn't fit. I think it was a good ending to the movie.
Is this like the? I don't even know what they could call it. The end, or
so we're already in spoiler territory. So I guess I can talk about it.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. So they've already seen it or whatever.
So Tony Stark dies.
Yeah.
Very sad.
Excuse me.
Captain America goes back through time, gets to actually have his own life, with the woman that he loves.
I don't remember what her name was.
And ends up old. Shows up, he's old, gives the shield to Falcon. So we have a new Captain America.
I was like, so now they're going to go that.
The Captain America Falcon thing is going to be awesome, and it sounds like they're going to go that route. But they're also doing the whole, what is that, Disney Plus, the Netflix competitor?
Yeah.
And they're doing a bunch of Avengers shows with, these actors. So they're doing, a Falcon and Winter Soldier show. They're doing one with Vision and Scarlet Witch. They're doing a Loki series. And they're all, these limited series that they're going to do on Disney Plus or Disney, whatever it's called,
like that.
Yeah, they're doing a bunch of these that fill in gaps. They're either in the future or it sounds like one might be in the past, that kind of thing. So
no big movie stuff yet that we know of.
So
I'm sure they will. They're going to.
They've got the next Spider-Man movie this summer.
Jesus.
After that,
how many times can you do Spider-Man?
Many times. Get that. Many. It's like, what are we on? 13, 14, 8?
I know we're 12. Off the Thor fat thing, but I did like that one. There was more animated where it was like Spider-Verse or something.
Into the Spider-Verse, yeah.
I really liked that one.
They did a really good job with that.
I did really like that one.
Yeah. I liked the last Spider-Man movie, the Homecoming. That one. It was kind of like an 80s teen kind of film. It was good. I think they did a really good job with it. There are a lot of rumors about what's coming next. Of course, they're going to do a Black Panther 2 because how can they not?
Yeah.
Probably Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like we will see Thor, maybe fat, maybe not, in Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay. That's the other thing, is that I won't necessarily be bummed if they come back and he's not fat.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they handle it in a good way.
Yeah.
But I won't necessarily be bummed because the fact that they did it in this film and showed that I feel like we're going to see more.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see more variety of
statement.
Yeah, I think that we will see other characters of different sizes. I think Marvel has come out and said that they're really trying to focus on more diversity across the board. Yeah. So the fact that carries over into body type and size, I think is something that we will absolutely see. And again, is it perfect? No, it's not. But I look at all of this, and I think about across the board, not just film, but think about pop culture, think about fashion. I mean, I say it a lot, but when I started Chubster, nobody wanted to give me the time of day. Nobody wanted to talk about any of this stuff. Now we have companies that they're making extended size lines. They are working with plus size models.
And it's not always perfect.
But
we gotta embrace it, support it, because that's the only way it gets better, is if you support it, even if it's not perfect.
Exactly. And I'm not saying don't call it out, because I absolutely think those things need to be called out, because they could have done without the fat jokes.
Yeah.
But
I also, like I said, I think it kind of helps. That is a real world sort of thing.
Absolutely.
He powered through.
Right.
That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it.
Totally. Totally. And, since I wrote the article about it a few days ago, whenever this comes out, and people have a lot of different opinions on it, and I understand them all. I do understand.
Yeah.
We see this kind of thing all the time, so it gets old and it's easy to feel burnt because of it.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I've got to look at the sum of the whole thing and the way that it ends up, where the character ends up, and how they handled that. And I feel like they did that character justice. And if you would have told me, 11-year-old Bruce, that this was going to be a thing that I never get to see.
Think about kids, a big kid seeing that.
Right.
They're getting name called more, I'm sure, in school.
Totally.
And they can identify with this character in this movie.
Now they've got a Fat Thor that kicked ass.
Yeah, he's getting called names, but he's still is amazing. Worthy, and he's amazing. He's kicking ass that. That in itself is really powerful. I think don't focus on the fact that there were fat jokes.
That would have
focus on where the character went with that,
right? And that would have been so meaningful to me.
Yeah,
to have seen something like that.
Every character has to overcome something,
right?
And that's what he's overcoming in this movie is the name calling and the whatever, and he's still worthy and proved himself,
and down the road that part of this of the movie won't age well, but I don't think they'll make that mistake again. So I feel like in all, it was a good thing. It was a positive, the character and the portrayal of the character was a positive. I'm excited to see where it goes from here.
Yeah. Now we need a fat chick in the next one.
So they are working on it. I think we talked about this before. There's a comic by, I want to say it's Valiant Comics, called Faith. And she's a plus size superhero.
Yeah. And I'm saying this.
Yeah. Oh, Marvel. Yeah.
Somehow
I would not be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all. They
and
actually
not just like I don't want it to be super busty, so skinny, whatever. I want her to be a big chick.
In the comics, in recent comics, they have a kind of an offshoot that's kind of a silly sort of like not like silly like making fun of, but like kind of like the B team Avengers.
Yeah.
I think they're the Great Lakes Avengers.
Great Lakes.
Yeah, and one of them is actually she's a plus size model, and they do a whole thing with her. So it feels like that's going to show up somewhere. There will be that story with all of them will show up somewhere at some point. I feel like there's a lot they can mine within this world. So I think we just have to ask for it on this podcast, and it'll happen. And it happens.
Yes. So all right, everyone. I want to know who you want to be a fat superhero.
Right.
Who do you want to be? I don't know. Turned fat? That sounds weird.
Fatified?
Fatified.
Yeah. And tell us what you thought about the way that they handled Thor and the our new Fat Thor that I will be every Halloween from now on.
Yes. What would your 10-year-old or 11-year-old self think of that? That's my question to you all.
Right.
All right. Share our podcast. Please do that. That's a big favor we want to ask. Share and like our podcast on wherever you're listening to us. Give us some feedback. We want to hear that.
Yes.
And thank you, Bruce, for sharing your thoughts and feelings about Fat Thor.
Thank you for letting me get my enthusiasm.
Yes, I know you were texting me. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening to Heavy Conversation. Be sure to like and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get your
podcasts.